Hey guys, Jen Graves here. So, doing another video for y'all. And this one, I'm going to call it No Regrets. So, um, I was sitting there thinking about it last night. I'm trying to finish up this set of manga before today and everything, because this is basically like my last day to read them all. And I'm trying to hit this cap that I've wanted to for the month. Um, you know, Somehow I got swooped in to, even though I didn't plan on it, got swooped into Lohali's 30 for 30 and Bizarre's readathon and different stuff, his sibling readathon. So, a couple different readathons I feel like I got pulled into without thinking about it or prior knowledge, just because I like to read and I'm a good friend. Um, but anyway, so on this one, no regrets. I just wanted to go in and kind of talk about what stuff like that you're reading. And not like high in depth or anything. But like there's some manga that I really enjoy. And of course, you're going to have high and low parts in manga that could shake you and make you not want to like read certain ones anymore and whatnot. So that's kind of where the idea for No Regrets, because after reading so many or whatever, there's some of them that are like high in ones that everybody likes, that sometimes while I'm reading it I'll be like, I just want to put this one down for a little bit. I just want to put it down and then come back to it later, or whatever. But that's the no regrets part. The no regrets is still kind of moving forward with it, still holding on to it and whatnot, and making sure that I still read it. Just like some series that I get that maybe they caught my eye at one point and don't seem very, very appealing. Especially, you guys know my TBR shelf. Especially at some point, when I'll have it and I'll be like, this one just doesn't get my goat. I don't see me jumping into it right away. But there's still stuff in it of why I got it before. So it's kind of like doing that, or like the mystery jar thing that I'm doing now, even though I'm way behind in that. But getting to enjoy certain ones randomly, or just having like a calling, I would say, of, hey, this one looks interesting, I want to read it, is kind of why it's there. And there's more that goes with No Regrets, especially like I've never given up really any manga, because most of my stuff is all complete from like the first one to the last one. I do think that there is one that I'm probably going to give up on, because I didn't know that that's how it was laid out and didn't make any sense. But I might keep the actual part of it that I have, that makes sense. It goes up to like volume 7, and then or volume 9, and then I have these other ones that I thought were part of it, but they're not. It's because when I was trying to figure out how the order was laid out, they put it in wrong, using Wikipedia and some of the other sources that I use to figure out like what it is. It's the GTO series, so I got that, and I thought like, hey, it transitioned into another series, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh does it, or some of the other ones, where it's like the same numbers and whatnot, but it's different. And that's kind of what they made it seem, is it just got like an arc rename, and that's not true. So, but I have no regrets on that. But other series that I do have, ones that, especially like old Tokyo Pop, where it's stuff that's all not it's not going to continue. It never will continue. There's no picking it back up, because a lot of them, obviously, because there were so many, weren't like big name brands, I would say. Ones that everybody could get in behind, support, and push it forward to getting a reprinting, kind of like Devilman Wonderland or Fruits Basket. Like, all those ones were good enough to get a reprinting. Bunch of these other ones that aren't, I mean, obviously we're not getting a reprinting for them. Rave Master, some of the other ones, I mean, obviously they're good, but there's not enough support, I would say, to have them go back and reprint it. But some of those, like I said, there's the whole thing of not having the regret of doing that. If you read something, I would say don't regret it. It might be something that you might not enjoy wholeheartedly, but there's something that made you pick it up, something that made you enjoy it, and so there shouldn't be any regrets with it. You can still enjoy it, you can still move forward with it. And like I said, there's some that I feel that way. There were times when I felt like Platinum Inn was that way, and now, like, getting into more of the stuff, I mean, whenever I get a volume of Platinum Inn, I'm like, oh my god, I need to read this. Some other ones, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. Obviously that's my niche. I love dungeon crawly ones and everything, and it really let me down on the first volume. And so that and Dungeon of Black Company, both of those took me forever to try and get back into. I still collected them, but it was like, I don't really want to read this too much. The first one just kind of left me with like a bad taste in my mouth. And then, I just put them on the back burner. They were probably sitting there for a while, and I ended up picking them back up and not rereading the first one because I still remember that part, but getting into it and reading the second volume or the third volume or whatever I had collected from then, and it was just like night and day. I don't know if it was the right time or what, but I read it, and it just all seemed like everything made sense in the world. There was a purpose for it, different stuff like that. It was really good. I will admit that now. It was really funny. I really loved getting back into both of those because I felt like what I needed at the time, especially reading those. It just kind of seemed like, oh my god, this is like, this is like crack. So it was really good. Like I said, getting to read both of those. So, I mean, even stuff that you have to go back and forth on right now, and I think a lot of you guys probably know this. If you don't, then you just haven't heard me bitch about it enough. But Cage of Eden is one of the hardest reads for me. It's taking forever. I started it like January or February, one of the two, I think February, and it's only like 21 volumes or whatever, and so it's not that long of a series. Like, I should be able to finish it in a month, or less than that. If I read 2 a day or whatever, it'll take me 10 and a 10th a day or whatever, something like that. But it's hard for me, there's like, I'll get to it and I'll hit that milestone where it's like, if you're playing a video game and you reach your max level that you're supposed to at that point, or if you have like a special weapon that has like 4 tiers to upgrade, and you upgrade all the tiers, you have other weapons, you upgrade all those tiers, there's nothing left for you to do in the game, so you have to jump back in the story to move forward. I feel like that's how Cage of Eden is. I'll get done, move up, and then it's like I'm stuck. I don't really enjoy it. I can't read anymore. and I move on to a different series. And then I come back and I read it again and I move up to the next slot and I'm like, this is really good. And it just happens again, you know? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, especially with things that you might not find too fruitful. But like I said, cover art, anything, there's a lot of stuff. And I hate as a manga tuber that sometimes we have to gloss over just the good parts, obviously, and not gloss over the bad parts of stuff, and then not go back and kind of like save that. Because, like I said, Cage of Eden, I will totally argue that it is a good series. I will totally argue that it is a bad series because of different things that happen in it. But there's no regrets that it's not something that I feel like I need here and there at times when there's nothing else that I feel like I could read. If you catch my drift. You know, like I said, there's a lot of the dungeon crawly stuff that I like. A lot of those, it's like, I'll read that, or the fighting ones, like My Hero Academia, or One Punch Man, or whatever, One Piece. Whenever I get those, I usually like to jump on them and read them. And it's like I'm coming off of this high, and even though I'm coming off of it, my enjoyment level is even higher than that. And so going down and reading Cage of Eden or one of the other ones that I have, even though I know it's not as good as these other series, my enjoyment of it is still just as high. And I mean, you know, it makes for a really good thing that you can sit there and enjoy, different stuff like that. So I would say, you know, almost like a challenge that I would tell you guys, see if there's one book that semi interests you and just kind of start reading it. You know, nothing that is too big. I know some people will probably look up scans for it or whatever, try it out. Honestly, guys, I would say not because of the whole thing, because I don't like it either. Shay and Otaku Mike, I feel like all three of us are in conjunction together on that, of we don't always agree reading scans, because there's a lot of other media that you could read it on for free that's not illegal or anything like that. But I also feel like, too, scans sometimes can be a cop-out, because if you don't like a series, because there's so many out there as scans, you can just drop it. You can just say, I don't like it, drop it after reading a couple of chapters. If you get that book, though, you have taken the time to purchase something and you want your money's worth out of it. So whether you read it and you turn around and sell it, that's something. Or if you sit there, read it, and you get some form of enjoyment out of it, you still have something to move forward. So, I mean, there is a lot of different stuff. So that's really about it for No Regrets. Hopefully you guys liked it. So I guess this is the point where I should just like throw out a couple of titles for you guys to go and check out and see if you guys will enjoy it or not. Let me think. Just check them out, see if you like it. Some of them aren't everybody's cup of tea, but they're good. I would say Remonster, only 4 volumes. Well, 4th one will come out later on in the year, like in October or whatever. But it is a very good series. Highly recommend it. You should get into it. It's everything I like in So What, I'm a Spider, So What, and that time I got reincarnated as a slime. You know, it is a good series. Both of those other ones are good series. A lot of people read them, though. I forgot how to say the name. Moyo, there we go. Moyo and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation. It's an old one. I would recommend that. Get into it. It is really good. It's not like a super huge one on the hype train, so there were, things that were in that one that were a little weird. It is really good, though. Highly recommend it. Of course, there's other ones that come highly recommended. What else is there? There's a lot. I'm sure that you guys will ask me if you want anything else that could be controversial, I guess. And then, of course, I have to give a shout out to Starlight Lost. If you guys go on and check that out, it does have a webtoon thing. There's only a couple chapters out, so that's kind of a good thing, getting in the groundwork for that too. If you guys want to kind of have that feel of having appropriate scans, because it's free, and getting them sent. I think they come out like every once a month or once every couple months, something like that. There's like a preface that's out, and the first chapter's out. So the second chapter should be out at some point, but just kind of wet your palate. But yeah, anyway, hopefully you guys like this video. Like I said, it's all about no regrets, not looking back, and whenever you get a volume of manga, keeping with it and enjoying it, finding it to its fullest. And I think it's really good. You guys know that Amascio J just did this video on his controversial, not controversial stuff, which we have had a talk on that, so nobody else say anything to him about it. Just because, guys, Amascio J is one of my longest time friends on here, and I can probably say just about anything to him, and Amascio J will just be like, okay, I understand. But everybody else, it's kind of like, I don't know what that person's saying. So it's just me and Amascio J understand each other because we've been friends for way too long. But yeah, checking out stuff like that, and getting into it. So anyway, hopefully maybe there's a series that you think that you might get rid of, but you haven't done it yet or whatever. And so right now, no regrets. Maybe jump back into it, read it a little more. Go back and read another series you might have regretted, and look at it in a different light. Maybe, it's like the Marvel TV shows on Netflix. I always have to get the mindset of whatever it's supposed to be. Jessica Jones, I feel like a detective. Daredevil, I have to act like I'm a lawyer that has that's just kind of everywhere, understanding what everything is. Iron Fist is just kind of a martial artist that might have been wowed. I don't know. And of course, Luke Cage, dude from Queens. So you got a bunch of stuff out there, and like I said, a lot of different stuff, especially on the Marvel thing. Not everybody or everything is your cup of tea, but seeing it in a different light does give it a different perspective and can make it more enjoyable. So like I said, that's kind of the whole thing to try, is no regrets, going and trying things that you may have thought that you needed to regret or something like that, and just get into it and enjoy it, and just immerse yourself in it and just kind of figure out what it is. Not only that, but here's a different light for you on that as well. If you do give it a chance again, or do reread something you regret or whatever, and it's still the same thing, then you know wholeheartedly that is something that you do not like. But if there is something else from this experience of what you've read before, what you've enjoyed and everything, and you've read, 10, 20 plus series since then, you might get a whole different light of how it is. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Jen Graves. Thanks for giving me 20 minutes or so, almost 21, whatever it is. And I will catch you guys later. So, back to reading for me. Woo. At this point, guys, reading is just, it's kind of like blood pumping, or winking. Well, not winking, but closing, or blinking, whatever. So, anyway, we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.